Alright guys, back again. I'm up against Mr. Drin Kalhar. This is actually the third game that we played. I think the first two were over fairly quickly due to him having mana issues. And he's playing Grand Warlord Radha, a new creature that I've been seeing a fair amount of. It's pretty incredible, honestly, just in terms of being a 3/4 with haste that makes mana, and it doesn't, you're able to move mana between turns, which is rather interesting, although yeah, steps and phases end. So, like Omnath, it's one of the very, very few things in the game that allows you to move mana between turns. And unlike Omnath, it actually allows you to move both red and green mana between turns. So, kind of an interesting little mana creation engine with haste. Not the most aggressive thing in the world. You can take a lot of hits from this thing before it starts to matter, but the fact that it enables big red and green spells makes it potentially very threatening. I'm playing Nin this game. You guys are probably very familiar with this deck, and I have not made any changes yet. The only thing that I'm going to be changing about this deck is incorporating a copy of the Spellseeker as soon as it becomes legal online. It's in Battlebond, and Battlebond hasn't been released online yet as far as I know. But Spellseeker will definitely get its place in this deck. It is kind of ideal, given that it fetches Mana Drain or Cyclonic Rift, and it also is a shooting target for Nin. It's kind of exactly what you want in a creature in this deck. So it'll definitely be coming in. Maybe replacing Trophy Mage with it, or possibly one of the 3-mana counters. One of the more clunky ones, like, I would guess probably the Dissolve or the Disallow. I think those are the two that are closest to the bubble. I think that the Metalcraft one is still too good not to use. I have a solid enough hand. It's not great. It doesn't have any real acceleration in it, but it does have 3 mana sources as well as Wasteland and Divining Top. And I really like starting the game with Phyrexian Metamorph because it means that I have a way to piggyback off of a Soul Ring or Mana Crypt early. So I'm going to keep this hand. I believe he's going first. No, it's me. So I can just play my Divining Top. And he goes to tap 1 mana. Frickin' Soul Ring, just when I was mentioning it. Alright, well, it's going to be a battle. And he has a Skull Clamp to follow it up. And he already has enough mana to play his stupid commander next turn. So I draw Mystical Tutor. And I'm playing a land here rather than playing Nin with the full intention. If he plays his commander right now with this Skull Clamp out and the ability to make lots of mana quickly off of it, I pretty much have to counter it at all costs. So I'm fully expecting him to play his commander next turn. I will Mystical Tutor in response for Force of Will, draw it with the Sensei's Divining Top, pitch Muddle and get rid of it, and then I will play a land and slam the Metamorph to copy his Soul Ring and make the Divining Top, and I think I'll be in decent shape after that. So that's certainly my game plan, fully expecting that. That's why I don't play Nin here. Drin Kalhar back to his turn. And he doesn't have another mountain, which is quite a relief. He taps 3 mana and plays a Sword of Feast and Famine. So now, actually, I'm looking at this Mystical Tutor thinking, well, there's 3 artifacts on board. I'm a ways off from playing Vandal Blast, but I do have Phyrexian Metamorph next turn, which will allow me to clear out all 3 artifacts. So that's most likely what I'm going to be going for. But I kind of like to actually have him run his commander into my counter magic first, given that I know that I have Disallow in my hand. So let's see what's on top of the deck. Take a look. And on top of my deck there are 2 fetch lands and Counterspell, which is quite interesting. So I'm going to order it so that I draw the Counterspell first. Reason being that I would much prefer to cast the Disallow over the Counterspell next turn to counterspell his commander, provided that he draws a mountain. And I'd much rather use the more expensive Counterspell, because the Disallow could be cast now, and then the Counterspell itself will be more useful later on when I intend to, say, play Nin and protect it or something, or just protect my board position. So that's why I'm not putting a fetch land out there. I'd rather draw the Counterspell first, even though I've got a Disallow in my hand, because I want to draw this, and I'm just going to play Wasteland and pass. I'm not going to copy the Soul Ring, because I still want him to at least keep his general out of play for 1 turn. And there's a mountain, so I fully expect him to just slam his guy here. And instead, he takes the safer, smart route and plays Fierce Empath. Very, very good play, actually. I really respect that. I think it's an excellent decision to do that versus just running his commander into counter magic. Because I really have to deal with this anyway. He draws 2 cards off of it. So this is effectively a 3-for-1 that draws 2 random cards and a 6-drop. And, or I guess even more, 6 or greater. As well as a thing to immediately equip with Sword of Feast and Famine. So this has to be countered. As shitty as it feels to cast a Disallow and a Fierce Empath, I pretty much have to do it. Kind of bad, but at least I know I'm drawing a fetch land next turn. I'm going to have 4 mana. Now Flooded Strand is out. I do have the Counterspell still as backup, obviously not playing Nin for the same reason. Plays a Rootbound Crag. He's got 6. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Card you don't see too often. Very, very powerful card. And fortunately, another artifact to add to the Vandal Blast mix. So while I'm sad to see him play it, I'm not too concerned because I'm intending to Vandal Blast soon, and he has a Llanowar Elf to immediately just draw a free card. God, Lifecrafter's Bestiary is amazing. I feel like I should put this in Omnath or something. It just seems so much upside. So, end of his turn, I'm going to use my Divining Top. Let's see what we got. Arid Mesa, Izzet Signet, and Tezzeret the Seeker. Okay, well I don't want the Signet. The Signet doesn't do anything for me right now. Arid Mesa allows me to play my Metamorph as well as immediately and copy the Sol Ring and play a land. The problem with that play though is that if I do have to counterspell next turn, I fully intend to have to counterspell. That means that I'm going to reshuffle my deck and I won't have the Tezzeret. So based on that game plan, I reorder it so that Izzet Signet is on the bottom, Tezzeret's 2 down, and Arid Mesa is on top. So I can play that next turn, tap my... I'm going to draw Tezzeret now because he's obviously way more valuable than a Divining Top. So I'm just going to make sure I have him in my hand in case I do have to sacrifice either one of these lands to cast the counterspell. And that allows me to copy Sol Ring. And now I can Vandal Blast and still use my counterspell. So this is basically looking ahead a few turns. The downside of this, of course, is that now I have to get hit in the face with a stupid Sword of Feast and Famine and lose one of these precious cards in my hand. But one of them is quite a bit better than, or quite a bit worse than the others, because it's slow. Ogre Battle Driver. Ugh, God, it's brutal. Well, that can't be allowed, even though he gets to draw a card off of it. So I'm going to have to sack both these and lose the Divining Top. But I guess he could have just played his commander. I would have countered that too. So I can cast a counter spell. And now he beats me in the face. I'm not sure why he didn't. Oh, that's right. I guess he drew a card off of the Bestiary. He's at 2 cards in hand. I get hit for 3. He gets all of his mana back. And he plays Llanowar Elves and draws a card. Another interesting choice. He had an opportunity there to play his commander. And this turn, actually, at the end of this, I feel like he makes a pretty big mistake. I see him pay 1 mana, and I figured, okay, good, he's doing the smart thing. He's got 7 mana or 8 mana in play and a relatively redundant 9 mana creature or 9th mana creature. Perfect thing to Skull Clamp, right? And instead he Skull Clamps the other elf. It's really pretty baffling play to me that I don't understand, although I'm very grateful for it because it keeps his hand size a lot smaller. And now it is finally time. I don't have any counter spells left anyway. It's time to pull the trigger on the Vandal Blast. And there's no temptation here to say play Tezzeret the Seeker and then untap the Sol Ring because that still leaves me 1 mana short of being able to Vandal Blast. And he would just cast his commander and run his 3 guys into Tezzeret and kill it. So Tezzeret would just be dead for no reason. That doesn't accomplish anything. I do have to Vandal Blast here, and I'm leaving Wasteland untapped. Thinking about like, what do I want to kill here. I feel like my position in this game is practically 0. He's still got 2 cards in hand. He's got tons of mana. His commander is still available, and I have nothing going on. Nin is still turns away, so I'm really, really not liking my chances here at all. No temptation to destroy this, so I just feel like I need my mana for potential Nin activation later. So he thinks for a while, and then he taps 4 mana. And taps this guy. Because natural order. And he casts this, I'm just slump. I figure, alright, well, that's it. That's GG for sure, right? He's going to go get the elephant, and he's going to kill Sol Ring, Volcanic Island, and Steam Fence. I'm going to have 2 islands and a wasteland. No mana besides that, no red, 1 card in hand, and he's got the 9/9 in play. There's just no way I can win. And then miraculously, instead of getting Tezzeret or Trastodon, he gets Dragon Lord Atarka, which he must just love. Like my 8-year-old son loves Dragon Lord Atarka. He does not love Trastodon because he doesn't understand the power of the elephant. And he plays a Green Sun Zenith for 0 rather than playing it for 2 mana. He could have gotten something, I imagine, quite a bit better than Dryad Arbor. I'm not sure what's going on there, but now I find out why. He just had to get this Chalice out. He could have done that in a different order too and gotten a 1 mana guy, like another elf presumably or something. I'm not sure what that was about, but now I got to contend with an 8/8, and Tezzeret the Seeker is not an answer to an 8/8 Trampler at all. I got to get pretty lucky here. But there's one thing you can do with this deck: it's draw cards and get lucky. Condescend. That's really, really nice to get. And the reason why that's nice is because likely my only out against this Dragon Lord Atarka, besides stealing it with a Treachery, is to bounce it. And if I bounce it, he has to replay it for 7 mana, and I got this Condescend now to handle it. So my top priority is just tying up the board a little bit. I'm going to get Veldican Shackles. And this will at least give me some defense against his commander if he tries to play it. So this means that the 8/8 is only going to be hitting me in the face. Although if he's smart, he'll send both these guys in and send Dragon Lord Atarka at my head, because he can just tap one in response to me stealing and hit me for 8, because it just puts me on such a fast clock. So it goes back to his turn. I just have to hope he's foolish and he lets me. So he goes to combat, and I figure, okay, well, that's interesting. He didn't play his commander. I guess I will just grab one of these 1/1s and hope he doesn't tap it for mana. Come on. What the? He doesn't do it. And that's really interesting, because now he can't just attack with Dryad Arbor into Tezzeret. He has to actually use Dragon Lord Atarka to either bash me for 8 or hit Tezzeret. And if he hits Tezzeret, that's basically saves me 8 life, which right now matters a lot. Sure enough, he's going to Tezzeret. It's like gain 8 life and put a Veldican Shackles into play. It's pretty incredible. It goes back to his turn, and I guess he's just worried about me stealing his commander, so he just passes. So I will keep the Shackles tapped, since I was lucky to steal his Llanowar Elves. Now I have a blocker against this or against his commander. I draw an island, which I'm actually rather happy to see, because I'm just going to have to go with the Nin plan here. Plus it just makes the Condescend a little bit more potent. But I've got to draw an answer to this Dragon Lord Atarka right now, or I'm just going to die. It's just that simple. Plays a Firelight Thicket. Attacks. Smash for 8. Nin is not active yet. Goes back to my turn. Come on. I really, really want to just draw Theft or Bounce. Theft or Bounce. Oops. Cyclonic Rift. Incredible. And there's no temptation, of course, to play this with Overload, given that there's just an Everflowing Chalice that I could bounce, which he would just replay for more mana. But that timing is sick. Absolutely sick. Back to his turn. I figured, come on, like, why are you not playing your commander at least? Like, you don't have to attack with it. Cast Farseek. And I guess maybe if he plays his commander, I could steal that instead and start shooting it with Nin, but I can just kill his Llanowar Elf and steal something else. Alright, Dragon Lord Atarka rumbles in. I'm definitely not going to just take 8 for no reason, so I'm going to bounce it. I have enough mana to counter it if he were to replay it, which he can't do now anyway, because he decided to cast Farseek before he attacked. And at the end of the turn, time for Nin to have a word with the Llanowar Elves. My favorite combo, Shackles Nin. 5 cards off of the dead corpse of his Llanowar Elves. I get Daze, and Into the Royal, and Fire Ice. Very, very nice. Okay, obviously I untap my Shackles now. Draw a Strip Line. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, I can just cripple his mana further. Take those 2 guys down, and Shackles can grab his Dryad Arbor. I'm going to just do that now. And he just lets me have it. He doesn't even tap it for mana. So that gives me a way to block his commander if he decides to cast it. Although I would most likely just Condescend it if he did it. Just to dig further into my deck. Taps 5 mana. Alright, that's certainly being Condescended, given that it counterspells my or kills my Shackles. So nice. Just Condescend for 2. It's down to just 2 cards in hand. And seeing that the writing is on the wall, and that I'm going to be just blowing his Dryad Arbor up next turn, and he's nowhere near being able to cast Dragon Lord Atarka, because he doesn't know I have a Daze, my opponent scoops it up, and that is the end of the game. I thought this was a really cool game just because of how much pressure I was under early due to the Sol Ring and all those nasty artifacts, and I really had to kind of pace the answers at the right speed. But fundamentally, it just came down to being lucky as hell and drawing Bounce to deal with Dragon Lord Atarka before he could kill me. And clearly, it also shows how much not remembering to tap your guys in response, or tap mana creatures in response to being stolen by Veldican Shackles, or Veldican Shackles, that it can make in a game. But I hope you guys enjoyed that game. I will continue to play some more, and hopefully they turn out well. I actually have another game that I need to check the replay on. If the replay cooperates, it's going to be an epic one. So look forward to that. I will see you soon.